Hey guys, we went out to eat tonight, and in just during normal conversation, Clay and I were talking about some of the funny things that had happened and how it seems every time we go somewhere, everything we do, something funny or unbelievable happens. And in the spirit of the requests, and then also watching Jay Young tell some of his funny stories, and Matthew joking about, Clay chapter 12, Clay chapter 84, when he starts telling some of his tales, we have decided that I'm going to do just a few short stories and kind of go over some of those. So here is our first story. Okay, so for a while we had been unhappy with my car. And so once Clay gets something in his head that's definitely what he wants, he's going to research it, study it, ask lots of questions. He's going to make sure that when he makes a choice, it's going to be the right one. And I'm sure all of you know that he is very straightforward and very outspoken. So when he wants something, or what he wants, or what he sees he wants, if that's definitely what he wants, there is no question. So we decided that we were going to shop for an F-250. I will tell you the reason for that later. That'll be a whole other story in itself. But anyway, we had finally found the truck, and the truck was at two different dealerships. They were not very far apart. I think one was in Olive Branch and the other was around, I don't even think it was in Mount Moriah. It was somewhere just outside of Memphis. It wasn't far at all from the other dealership. Either way, we had been back and forth, and if you ever want to see a good deal, I'm going to tell you, take Clay with you to deal for a vehicle. Car dealers run. It's terrible. It's sad for them. I feel bad for them by the time we leave. I actually get in tears myself and get a little upset because I think this deal's not going to happen, and then it happens. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. Anyway, we had just about got towards the end of finishing all that up, and we thought back to a time a few months earlier when we had taken the boys for ice cream in Memphis, and we took them to Ben & Jerry's. And while we were at Ben & Jerry's, we just smelled this heavenly smell of steak, beef, cow, as Clay calls it, in the air, and it smelled so good. And we're big foodies. He stays so busy, I stay so busy, the boys are always busy. We just don't have a lot of time to go on real vacations. So little micro vacations is what I call them, is what we like to do. If we hear of a good place to eat, we'll write it down and we'll try to go and try it out. So we wrote it down. We decided that's where we wanted to go. So move forward about 3 months while we're at the dealership. Clay says, why don't we try to get in touch with that restaurant? What was it called? And I said, I think it was called Houston's. He said, look them up, see if we need reservations, make a reservation, because I really want to eat. We had not eaten all day. We both got a cup of coffee at the Pilot, like at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, drove to Memphis, and we'd been dealing with that all day long. We were starving. So we made the reservations, and they were for 7. I think we got there about 6. We got there a little bit early. We finished up quicker than we thought. And so they told us to have a seat, and the reservations weren't going any quicker than they expected. So it was going to be a long wait, but we were ready. Like, it was going to be so good. Clay loves cow. He does not eat chicken. He does not eat anything that looks like chicken. It's going to be cow. He does eat pork, but mostly cow. So anyway, we were waiting, and he thought, it's really hot. I'm really tired. It'd be really good to have a beer. They've got a bar here. So we asked the hostess about the beer. We know they have a bar, and everybody's mingling around with all these little fancy drinks and wine glasses. Okay, they have mixed drinks and they have wine, but they do not have beer. And I have never in my life heard of a restaurant that will have wine and mixed drinks, but they will not have beer. But they did not have beer. So we're waiting, and he's watching everybody with all their drinks, and we're hot and tired and thirsty, and so we're just gonna wait. So we wait and we wait and we wait, and evidently it was some big function that night in that area with some of the more upper crust, I guess you would say, and they were all mingling and talking and telling their tales and laughing and having a great time, and we were sitting there waiting, and we were thinking about how good this was gonna be. And so they finally call our name. Now let's stop right there. First, if you know Clay, most of you kind of have a gist or an idea of who he is. Very strong, very straightforward man. He is from the South, and he is proud of that. He is a country boy, and that is why I love him and fell in love with him. He can do anything with his mind or his hands, and he is a wonderful man. But you don't take his cap away, okay? going to town is clean jeans, usually a nice t-shirt, and some type of nice shoes. Date night and really going to town is a dress shirt and nice jeans and his nice boots. You will never, ever, ever omit his cap. The only time Clay does not have his cap on is when he is asleep in the bed. Period. So anyway, let's move on. They have called our name. Time to be seated. We stand up. We walk with the hostess to the entryway. And she mumbles something about cover. We both look at each other and we say, I'm sorry. And we ask her what she said. She says, we ask that the gentleman please remove their cover. Okay, I just heard either crickets or tires squealing. I don't know what it was, but about that time, it did not look good. So I looked at him. I really, really, really figured this is it. We're just going to leave. Because let me tell you another story within that story. If he is unhappy with the smell of the restaurant or something before we get our food in front of us, we're turning around and we're leaving. We're leaving that restaurant. We will not eat there. So anyway, he says, okay. And he takes his hat off and he slides it slowly down beside his side. And he looks like a little boy that has been chastised and been whipped on the legs with a switch. So anyway, we walk with the hostess on into the dining area and they are seating us. So the waitress comes by and she asks, what would you like to drink? So we ask, maybe they have beer at the tables. No beer. Okay, well, aside from beer, the only other thing Clay drinks is sweet tea. We don't do Coke. He tastes like battery acid. And we don't do water. That is another story. Fish do awful things in water, he says, and he does not drink water. So anyway, we ask, okay, do you have any sweet tea? No sweet tea. But they do have refreshing lemonade that they could mix with the unsweet tea, and it's quite delicious, she says. Okay, Clay has decided we're doing unsweet tea. He's got the look. I'm figuring we're bolting any time now. But he's like, no, we're going to try it. Oh, that's how good it smelled. But anyway, so about that time, she slides the menus to us. I hold up the menu. He is still trying to recover from the fact that he's got his cap off in front of all these people and he's not getting his sweet tea or beer. I look at the menu and I know this is it. That's it. We're done. Every single steak has been marinated in something. Like we're talking pineapple and sesame seeds, some kind of habanero, peach jam, something. This is no-go. So I asked the waitress, I said, okay, I see that everything is marinated in something. Do you have a plain steak? So Clay says, hold up. And the menu comes down from the other side and he says, what now? And I said, well, every steak is marinated in something. And I asked her, do you have a steak that is just plain? Can you just take one out of the refrigerator and put it on the grill? No, ma'am, we cannot do that. I looked at him, and that's when I said, it's okay, baby. If you want to go, we're going to go. And it's a wonder the waitress was not injured when we both leapt out of the booth and walked straight out of that restaurant with everybody looking at us. But that is the story of Houston's restaurant. They smell wonderful, and I am sure their food is very delicious. But for two Southern folks that just want to enjoy a nice steak, it was just not for us. So I think I'll have lots of other little tales and stories. This is more for our community than anything else. This is more where we all get a little jolly joke when y'all know Clay or you know me, excuse me, or something we may tell with a friend. But I feel like all of you are kind of like our family, not just part of a community. And I know y'all get little jollies and jokes out of all of that, and it's really funny. So I plan to have more, and we'll see how this goes. I'll see y'all later. Bye.